Welcome to the Creating with Beauty podcast, where God's love and beauty flow through our hearts and hands with peace and intention. Here you'll find honest conversations, inspiring stories, and gentle invitations to create with the beauty and wonder already in your life. Beauty is both a gift and an invitation, leading us down a sacred path with Jesus.
My whole intention is for everybody to live with eyes wide open, like to see what's right where you are. It's not necessarily about these specific flowers that are right in my backyard, but about the ones that are yours.
So I know that you work with multiple mediums, mixed media, but I want to look a little bit at, is there one of the mixed media mediums? Is there something that you create with that say brings you more peace? Or, I don't mean that the others don't bring you peace, but I mean, is there something that you really get your hands into and you can feel yourself, kind of relax and let go of the world and just be creating in that way?
Yeah.
Or does it all come together?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say that it might have more to do with my my mindset.
Okay.
Where I'm at, the pace. If I'm creating for a deadline or not.
Yeah.
And sometimes deadlines you've got to have them. But the layering of collage is really a therapeutic process for me. Like the cutting out and the finding words. And, I think that is just a good process. But and there's nothing like gathering flowers and arranging them in clay. There's nothing like that. I don't get to do that all the time. I don't there's only, a short season of the year that we have that in our pastures, here on the ranch that I can gather. But I can collage year round and I can, put layers down in a journal or on a board. And that process, that is really, that's just a good. Do you see the heart on the wall back there?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that one was just like a process of cutting out a lot of hearts and just layering and layering and layering. I have another one where I did like a sunshine and like kind of the horizon going towards the sunshine, and that was also just cutting out of lots of colors, but then also just putting words with those, and the words that I did with the heart up here and also with that sunshine, the ones that I used in that one, it came from doing the Soul Road Academy with Melody Ross and using her words for She Did It Anyway, and I Have Decided. And so sometimes when I just need some peace of mind and just kind of, I will do that kind of process. And I will cut out words that kind of address whatever I'm wrestling with, and remind me of what's true. And sometimes I do that with Bible verses. I put a lot of Bible verses into my work too that really speak to just a spot where I am.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I feel like I could conquer the world with a glue stick in my hand.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just something so freeing about a glue
Yeah.
stick and paper and just
Yeah.
have at it and just see what happens. Yes.
Yeah.
It's very serendipitous. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So let's go on to Beauty for Ashes.
Yeah.
So we all have hard things to work through or to
Mhm.
walk through. And
Yeah.
if you would like, share one area where God has used it in your life to create beauty for ashes.
Yeah. So definitely doing like when I talked about earlier the transition from scrapbooking holidays and birthdays and things like that to scrapbooking what was going on inside of me,
Hmm.
um, that was very, very helpful for me to clarify um, the ideas that I was getting about writing and about art making, um, and really helping me to identify what my values are, what's important to me. So the process of writing and of collage and finding color and images that really connect um, with my heart. That's a process that I do again, just kind of like the heart, collage back there on my wall.
Hmm.
That process is very helpful to me when things are heavy.
Good.
Um, Definitely. And I would say, and this is maybe, does it fit in with art? I think so. Um, just one of my prayer practices is to sit down with a journal and to just get quiet. And this was not my idea. It was given to me from a Bible study I did a long time ago called How to Hear God's Voice. Um, but I've also seen it in referred to in other things that I've read and such. But to get quiet and just sit down and get in touch with Jesus and just, like connect with him and ask him, Lord, what would you say to me today? And then write. And that is probably the thing that has helped me through more. And what that has also done is it just helps me pour out a lot. And every time I do that, it does bring me back to, just a even just a place, a landing place where I just have some peace of mind and can rest. I'm I'm edified, I'm strengthened, I remember what's important. Um, and so often those writing pages translate into something that I actually create with
Hmm.
words on it. Um, because I want to remember. Um, I want to remember that. And so making is part of like solidifying that. There's a couple things. There's two things. One is a quote from Brene Brown, and the other is a story from the book of Joshua. So the Brene Brown quote, and I probably won't get it right, but it's how we we transition what we are learning from our head to our hearts through our hands.
Oh, yes.
So it's like we are learning something and we get it down into our heart by creating with our hands, like by doing.
Hmm.
So it takes it from a thought and an idea or a philosophy or way of thinking or whatever, and we get it down within us by action. And art is one of those ways that I do that. The story from Joshua is the one where Joshua's been selected by Moses to take the Israelites into the promised land. And they have to cross the River Jordan. And, it seems like most people know the story of crossing the Red Sea. But also, there was another crossing, and that was the River Jordan. And the uh, I'm just going to paraphrase the story, but the the Israelites were to go across the River Jordan into the promised land. A couple of things. First of all, the river did not stop flowing until the priests put their feet in the water. It kept going, kept running until they took that step of faith, and then the Lord stopped the water. So, so that was one thing. The second thing is that Joshua was instructed to have everybody, like each tribe, take a rock from the 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 riverbed and carry it across. And then they would set up this marker of these stones after they crossed the river. And the reason they were to do that is so that in the future, when your children asked or whoever asked, what are these stones about, that you could tell the story of how the Lord, led them into the promised land and did this miracle. And so making art is like my remembering stone. It's like
Mm.
it gives like if somebody asks, why did you make that or whatever, then it gives me an opportunity to share about what the Lord's done. Um, and it might be just that I found a heart rock and felt his love, you know. But those remembering stones, like that's those two things, are part of my art making. Like moving something from my head, getting it down into my heart through my hands, and creating, markers so that,
And actually taking the step
yeah, and taking
into,
that step of
right,
faith.
taking the first step
Yeah,
into the water. Yes.
it all comes into this whole process.
Right. Yes.
And I really like all of the things I have integrated, like it all writing, making art, walking, taking pictures, faith. Those are all my ingredients
Hmm.
into what I create. Story, my story, other people's stories. Um, I love that. I love story and, you know, I love bringing all of these different elements together.
Yeah, you're amazing at it. Really, I mean, in our other times together, I love your stories. So thank you for sharing those. Um, like the specific analogy, that is just so life-giving to think about that process of actually taking a step into the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then okay, yes, you have the remembering stones, but then also the action creates, the solidification in your heart of what is spinning around in your head.
Yeah.
So yeah, great stories. And you can see it too in your work that you have depth and meaning.
Mm,
That you have depth and meaning in all that you create, and it comes through in what you do. And you can just see your heart,
mm.
your heart being poured out into it. And yeah.
That's
So
good to
I
know.
mean it's neat to, yeah, you press flowers and that's great, but
Right. Yeah.
because I know you and I want our listeners to know you, that when you press a flower, you're full of joy and you're
Yeah.
full of God's love for you, and just how he shows up in the simplest of ways. And
Yeah.
yeah, so those are great analogies. Thank you, Jodi, for sharing those. And so I guess, I mean, we've kind of touched on this too, like I call divine design, or like it's the creative wholeness that God puts into our DNA,
Hmm.
to draw us closer to Him through making, through the things we love creating, and the things that come to you naturally. And I think we've kind of touched on quite a bit
Yeah.
of that.
For sure.
Um, but if you were to define like an attribute that God has placed within you, what would that be?
Well, I would say that eyes wide open way of living,
Yeah,
like that childlike fascination and wonder.
yeah,
And that I think has been in me always.
yes.
It has just become more apparent to me the longer I've lived, and the more I've put it to use. Um, but I feel like that's the thing is like really seeing and searching, and being rewarded in that search,
Hmm.
anticipating and seeking, you know.
And
Uh,
being open to receive.
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
And open to like being surprised by it, like not
right.
having to be a certain way, but that um like wonder can show up in such surprising ways, and that's, you know, just, being open to it. I have a quote in here in my my room. I was just reading it actually before we started, and it's from Mary Oliver, and I love her. I love her poetry. Um, it says belief isn't always easy, but this much I have learned, if not enough else, to live with my eyes open.
Right. Because if we don't, we can miss so much.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and it goes so fast. Like, life
Yeah.
just goes so fast. And
Hmm. It does.
and the older we get, the faster it goes. That's what my dad always
Yeah,
said to me. The older we
yeah,
get, the faster it goes. And I'm like,
yeah,
why is that? But it's true. Like
yeah.
when you're raising your kids, what is the saying? The days are short, but the years are, how does it go? The days are long,
Days
but
are
the years are
long.
short.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yes. So like that
Yes.
kind of quote. And
Yeah.
you think you have like
Hmm.
forever with,
Yeah.
but then all of a sudden they're grown,
Yeah.
right? And then they're grown. And then for some reason, like our time continuum just goes way faster.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, enjoying and
Yeah.
capturing and being open to all of it because it
Yeah.
goes so fast
Yeah.
and to see it and
Yeah.
to allow him to nurture us
Hmm.
through our life experiences, right? And so
Yeah.
also to how do you feel combining your living with eyes wide open and
Mhm.
with your creativity has become a part of your soul or a part of your testimony or even a part of a ministry? Like any of those? Do you feel that it applies to any of those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everything that I just shared, for
Yes,
sure,
right? Yeah.
Um, that's
Do you view your work as a ministry in some way?
yes, I do.
Yes. Okay.
I do. And there is the creation of it that is good for me, but here's the places where that I absolutely love. I love being somewhere where I have been invited to bring my art to sell, and I get to connect with people who decide to buy something because it connected with their heart. I love that. And that opportunity that it opens up for somebody else to share their story with me, that's amazing.
Mhm.
That because it creates connection, person to person connection. And I absolutely love that. We need to see each other, and appreciate each other as human beings. That's we are all created in the image of God
Right.
and so valuable. And so to be able to connect with another human being in that way is absolutely precious to me. Sharing our stories, I think, is a sacred thing. And so that's
Mhm.
why I see it as a ministry, that aspect. It's great to sell my work through other businesses and to do, wholesale. And I am so grateful for that opportunity because I need it. I need it financially,
Right.
So,
Right.
but the face to face, when people connect with my work, that's a ministry there. And then the other aspect of that is when I have the opportunity to share a class and to, share my process and my heart with other people. And again, so often that will result in people sharing their stories with me. Sometimes it's the very first time I meet them, and it might be, after the class and they come and share. And sometimes it's during, and somebody will give just tell their story and about the connection, and everybody kind of goes, oh, that's like providing those places for people. Um, Man, I love that. I love being able to do that, to create that kind of atmosphere for people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's also something you're very good at.
Mm.
You are. You have a gift of showing up showing up and being genuinely yourself and genuinely caring for whoever you're with. Like that comes across in all that you do, and you're so good at it. So I appreciate you for that because you are always so warm and welcoming and inviting and kind and caring. And I am so thankful to call you a friend. And I absolutely just adore all that you do. So, anyways,
Glad that you experience I'm glad that you experienced me that way. I've been, like I was very shy growing up, very quiet.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'm, pulled back. Like in this kind of setting, I feel really free to talk because it's my wheelhouse,
Right,
But often, I'm just kind of reserved and pulled back and I hope people don't experience me as a closed off person,
right,
you know, but you know, as a place to be able to be themselves.
right. And two, also with the things that you share, just your general day-to-day life and the pictures of the wildflowers, or, Rhett and the dogs playing, or your
Yeah.
kittens, or the sunrise, or the sunrise or the sunset,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
your heart rocks. Like all of
Yeah.
that is so inviting, in
Good.
us into your world.
Good.
And seeing that, and knowing that you're experiencing that makes me happy to see. So
Mm.
keep sharing.
Thank you. Thank you. And those are,
Yes.
I record those. It's selfishly, it's great for me to get those reminders,
Oh,
like a
yeah.
year ago, those Facebook reminders
Right.
like that. Um, but I do also hope that it just helps other people to open up and look, be looking
Yeah.
in their own minds
Right.
and taking that moment. And I do take a lot of pictures. I take a lot because I want to remember. And
Yeah.
so it's the sharing is as much about me remembering as it is about seeing it in the moment. Like, oh,
Right.
pause, take a picture because this matters. Like, this is the stuff of life.
Right. This is the stuff of life.
Yeah.
You need to put that on
There
one of your
we go.
plaques. This is the stuff of life. Oh, I love it. Okay, so where do you feel joy leading you in your faith, in life, and in your creativity
Mm,
now, like going forward?
hmm. Well, I think paying attention to what does give me joy. And I would say for anybody, like, pay attention to that because we all have little different, things that bring us joy. And the things that light me up with joy are different.
Hmm.
And so, like, I absolutely like when it is summertime and I step out into the pasture here on the ranch and there is a just spray of wildflowers. That brings me so much joy. And when I see that, my thought is people have got to see this. They've got to see it. Like and so inviting them into that, that is something, I guess, sharing my joy with other people and inviting them to the ranch and doing events like that. I did a day-long retreat last summer and it was absolutely wonderful. And I would love to do more of that, of being able to share my space with people with, with that, this is what I have. And not everybody has an opportunity to walk out into a pasture and gather wildflowers. Like most people don't have that opportunity.
Right.
Being able to share that means a lot to me. That's a way to share my joy. Um, and again, that it can just help us to see what's right where we are. Like, and I think I would do that no matter where I was. I happen to live on the prairie, but if I lived in the desert, I'd be out there taking pictures of all the different varieties of cactuses and cactus blooms
Hmm.
and the rock formations and that. Or if I lived along the beach, I'd be out there gathering seashells and watching for dolphins and um, taking pictures of the sunrise and the sunset and listening to the ocean waves and noticing the plants that grow in that area. So um, that's my joy.
Hmm.
And definitely embracing that and trusting that, what, God gave that to me and he's happy when he sees me having joy. Like I had just a group that I belonged to a few years ago where we would meet and just support each other and pray for each other and share what we would see. And I remember one of the ladies just telling me, you know, when you're out um in the flowers and you're walking, the Lord is so happy. Like he's delighted to see you enjoying that.
Hmm.
That's, I believe that. I receive that.
Amen. I know in the last few years in one of our conversations there was something I was going through and you said that to me, that the Lord delights in you. And nobody has ever said that to me
Mm,
before, or I never even thought that before. I mean, I knew the Lord loves me, right? But
mhm.
but to hear you say that, it is something that has never left me.
Oh,
I
that.
and when I'm when I'm having to deal with that situation over,
Hmm.
again and again
Yeah,
from time to
yeah,
time, I remember that the Lord delights in you. And I remember that you said that to me. So thank you for that. And I'm really happy
yes,
that you brought that up in our podcast today, because I want other people to know that and to
yeah.
remember that, even in the simplest of ways. I think it was, honestly, Jodi, I think I was going in for a breast MRI,
Mm,
um and it
mhm.
was like post mastectomy and all of that.
Yep.
And there was a song that I knew that the Lord used to remind me of his love and care. And it's
Hmm.
really his journey. It's a journey song, and it's Don't
Yeah,
Stop Believing.
of course.
And the day that I
Woo!
was the day that I was going to this MRI, I heard the song on the way there. And when I got in the car and I turned the car on, it was on again. And I was like, it's kind of like your bird story, right?
Yes.
But it was just like, that is and it was just like the day before you had said about the Lord delighting in you. So it
Yeah,
was really fresh in my mind. And I just totally knew through
yeah,
a journey song that
yeah.
that was the case. So thank you for
Right.
sharing that. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I
Yep.
love that. I love that song, and I love that that had that meaning for you. And
Yep.
he does that. Like God does those amazing things like that.
Right.
And yeah, it can be journey. It
It could be anything.
Yeah, it can be anything. And
Right.
if you just think about like when you give somebody a present, when you give somebody a gift, like
Hmm.
how do you hope they respond?
Right.
You
Yeah.
want them, you don't want them to be like, oh, you shouldn't have done that, or oh, that's too much. You want them to be like, oh my goodness, how did you know? Like, this is awesome. I love it. When you give somebody a gift, you want them to be absolutely delighted.
Hmm.
When the Lord gives us a gift, He wants us to be absolutely delighted. And so when there are gifts and things that bring us joy, I just like imagine, okay, God is so tickled. Like He's so
Yeah.
delighted in my happiness.
Right. And to remember that he actually does, like us to be happy, just
Yeah,
like we like our kids to be, happy
exactly.
and have
Yes.
joy. And yes, right.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. If we can give good gifts to our kids, how much more does He give to us? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so seeing those things as a gift from God, the field of wildflowers or the songbirds, that makes it root deeper within me.
Right. It's a connection.
Yeah.
It's just an additional connection to the Lord that
Yes.
we can see versus walking by and not even paying attention to. So I know we've also kind of touched on this, but I'm going to have you put it like in a summary.
Okay.
What story or truth do you hope your art whispers out into the world?
I think I hope that by bringing together the things that I discover right here, right where I am, I hope that my art guides other people to live with their eyes wide open and to be like, wow, this was right here all along and I didn't even realize it. And it's so
Hmm.
amazing. Um, like if we can all just like see, I think that matters. Like seeing beauty in everyday life, in the uniqueness of somebody that you love, like their laughter or whatever brings them joy, like just getting fascinated with that, or the autumn leaves or whatever that matters. And that I could have the response or the trigger to or the ripple to others to just help them to open their eyes and just see, wow, this was right here. And I didn't even know it, but I'm so glad I see it now. If I could just be a part of that,
Hmm.
that's what I'd love.
Okay, so that's a great wish, and I know it to come true. I know it already does. So, what beauty are you living today that you once hoped for?
Mm. Well, I, one of the things, this isn't even really related to art, but
No.
having adult kids,
Mm,
seeing who they have become, like three of ours have become adults,
yeah.
and that's a beauty to see who they have become. I'm so, um, man, I just love them all so much, and each one is different. Tom and Sydney and Aaron, they're so different. They each have unique gifts to bring to the world, and I love being able to have a relationship with them. And like, um, you know, there was yeah, time flies when they're little, and
Hmm.
sometimes you hear a lot about being sad about how, oh, I just, that makes me sad to see you, when they were, but I'm so happy to see who they have become and to be able to live that and just see the beautiful humans that they are. And so that would be my answer to
I
that.
have this quote here that says, "Life is art, paint your dreams." So, it's all art if we allow it to be. And so how you
Yeah.
loved and nurtured and raised your children is an expression of who you are. And so to have that come full circle now with them as adults and you to be able to experience it in a different way is
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful and amazing, right?
Thanks.
Yeah. And so it's basically, I think art is important and creativity is important, and I believe that God uses it to reach and teach all of us,
Hmm.
but the broad spectrum is our life,
Yeah.
and how we
Sure.
love and nurture others through what he's given us, and you do that
Yeah.
very, very well.
My whole intention is for everybody to live with eyes wide open, like
Hmm.
to see what's right where you are. It's not
Hmm.
necessarily about these specific flowers that are right in my backyard, but about the
Right.
ones that are in yours, you know, that you see the cosmos and the lavender and
Hmm.
I just love that. I love people seeing what's right where they are. Um, and so that's how it has, I feel like, expanded. And sometimes it's very, very simple.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's dramatic and exciting, but
Right.
it matters.
Absolutely. And also too that you were working on, well, you were contemplating creating that class at
Hmm.
that time, right? And so then to have like these three birds show up in the same day, that just like lit a fire in you that
Hmm.
you needed to do this. Like it
Yeah,
wasn't like, oh, well, me, no, I need to do
yeah,
this. Like that was another way of God showing you you need to do this. Yes.
yeah. And I would say when I step out in faith, that he provides more. He provides
Good to
more
know. Yeah.
stories, more ideas, more. So when I decided to do Consider Birds, he provided layers of new bird stories,
Yeah.
different ones. Um, Still sweet,
Right.
still relevant.
Yes.
And so that is something that I have learned too, is that when I step out in faith, um, the like there's an abundance. There's not a lack. Like there will be more
Yeah.
ideas. There will be more, you know, um, sweet times that God shows me and speaks to my heart and gives me something to share with other people. And so trusting that, stepping out, there will be more.
Hmm. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I totally appreciate it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to share and get this out with the world and let everybody hear your beautiful stories and testimonies. It's going to be wonderful. And also, to where can people find you?
Yeah. So you can certainly find me on Instagram at jodine.s, Jodene.s. That would be my art page.
Okay.
Also, my website is whiteowlwings.com.
Okay. And I will put that in the
Whiteowl.com.
description as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Find me there. I do have a Facebook artist page, but everything that I put on Instagram, you'll find, on Facebook too. But those are those two places. And then also, I do have Etsy. I have an Etsy site, and that is if you go on Etsy and you look for my name, and I can send you the exact link, but
right. I'll
Etsy is
put that.
Jodi Shaw. Um, But if you follow me on Instagram, also, I have Etsy. I don't list everything I have available on Etsy. So a lot of people just follow my Instagram and then they're like, oh my goodness, I love that. Do you have that available? And then we just end up, coordinating and I make one for them or whatever. So you don't have to, wait for something to appear on my Etsy site to reach out to me and, we can, if you see something that you like, let's talk.
Absolutely. And also, like I had mentioned, following Jodi on social media is a treat. She
Aw,
shares just the
thanks.
simplest, sweetest things of daily life that are beautiful and inspiring and encouraging. And so, even if you're not in the market to buy art, but I hope that
Yeah,
you do buy her art, go follow her on social media because it's really, I love your posts. They make my day. So
thanks.
when you pop in a heart rock, or I get great joy out of seeing Rhett and all of his
Mhm.
scientific and creative
Oh yeah.
adventures.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got
So,
got
yeah,
a curious mind also. So,
absolutely.
but yeah, and anything, that I have coming up, I share through social media. So,
Right.
like any events where I'm gonna take my art or offer a class online or in person, you can find that on my social medias and my website too.
Awesome. All right, Jodi. Thank you
Okay.
so much for being
Yes.
here.
Yes.
And I will talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Melanie. This was lovely.
It
Thanks.
was lovely. Thank you. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.